Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome back to another interesting session. Today we are going to explore one of the most important building blocks of marketing and consumer research process. Whether we are dealing with small shop, a new startup or a large multinational organization, every business depends upon understanding its customers. If a company doesn't know what their customers want, what they think, and how they feel, or why they behave in a certain way, the businesses cannot succeed. That is the main reason and cause that why the consumer research plays such a central role in marketing research process. The consumer research process may sound a bit technical, but that we have today we will understand it in a very easy, in a very conversational way. Imagine I am talking directly to you in a classroom or guiding you step by step. By the end of today's lecture, you will know how the marketers develop research objectives, how they collect secondary data, and how they design primary research, and how qualitative research helps them to understand much deeper about the psychological insights of consumer. Everything will be explained in a continuous and a very neutral flow, so you can understand it very well, and I don't think so there will be any hindrance in understanding the lecture. So let us begin with our first stage, which is developing research objectives. Before concluding any research, the researcher must absolutely clear about what the information they want to be collected. If someone begins the research without a clear direction, it will become like traveling without knowing the destination, without having any idea where you want to go. So you will walk, you will spend energy, and you might even explore different areas, but you will not reach to the meaningful conclusion because you never defined where you wanted to go. So, if we relate it a bit with our lecture, I must say that in marketing research, this means that you could waste time, you will waste money by collecting unnecessary data and still not getting the answers to the actual business problem. To understand this better, imagine you have opened a new coffee shop in your area, and people come on the first day. They seem to be interested, but after that, the consumers stop returning. You start to worry. Obviously, you will worry. You think maybe the taste is not good enough, or the environment is not that much comfortable, or maybe the ambiance is not good, or maybe your prices are too high. But before making any decisions, the most important step is to define your research objective. Clarity. You cannot just say that I want to understand the consumers. That's too vague. Instead, you need a statement that tells you what exactly you want to find out. For example, your objective might be to find out the customers who are not returning after the first visit. Another objective could be to measure the satisfaction with the taste of coffee, or perhaps you want to evaluate whether the customers feel the prices are a bit higher, or what is their perception regarding the prices. Notice that these things are quite clear, specific, and measurable. So the objectives will guide you. The entire research process will be guided by the research objectives. Once you know what is your purpose, the rest of the research becomes easier. So, uh, I will connect it a bit. Research objectives help you stay focused. They help you decide what questions you need to ask, who you need to talk to, and what methods should you use. They also help you to avoid unnecessary work because you will only collect the information that is actually needed. The good research objective is very clear, is very realistic and obviously relevant to your business problem and possible to measure within the specific time frame. Now that you have your own objectives ready, the next logical step is to collect the secondary data. So, secondary data refers to the information that exists already. It has already been collected by someone else, perhaps for another purpose, but it is available to you for your own use. This step is very important. Why? Because before spending money on a new data collection, it is wiser to check out whether the information is already readily available or not. So sometimes the answers you need might already exist in your organization. For example, your coffee shop might have previous sales report that reveal which drinks sells the least and on which days of the week mostly the businesses experience low traffic. You might also have consumer complaint logs or online reviews that may tell you what people think about your product or service. These are the examples of internal secondary data, meaning data that is already present inside the organizations. There is also an external secondary data, which means the information is collected outside your organization. This can include, you can say, government reports, newspapers, articles, academic studies, and industry reports, and market analysis could also be the part of this. Uh, the market analysis of the firms like Nielsen or even the online sources such as Google Scholar can be used for that. These sources can give you broader market trends, insights about the broader market trends, I mean, and consumer preferences in your region or you can say competitor performance. The advantage of secondary data is that it is quick, it is inexpensive, it is easy to access, it gives you the background knowledge and helps you refine your primary research. However, there are some disadvantages as well, and the possible disadvantage could be that secondary data may be a bit old, it may not be exactly what you need, and sometimes its accuracy and relevance may also be questionable. Still, it is an essential step in consumer research process. So after gathering the secondary data, you are now ready to design your primary research. Primary research means collecting fresh data specifically for meeting your own research objective. This data has not been collected before, so it is original, it is new, and it is completely focused on your own research problem. And if you want to know why the coffee shop consumers do not return after the first visit, there is no secondary report that will magically answer what the problem you are facing. You must go to the customers directly and ask them. This is primary research. So, designing the primary research is a systematic process. First of all, you decide whether you need quantitative research or whether you need qualitative research. I'll explain them a little bit here. The quantitative research basically focuses on numbers, percentages, and measurable patterns. It answers the question like how many, how often, or how satisfied. On the other hand, qualitative research helps you explore the motivations, feelings, hidden insights, hidden reason, uh, or maybe the reason behind certain behavior of the consumer. And it will answers the question like why, how, and what do the consumers feel. Once you decide the approach, you will select the data collection method. For the quantitative research, you might design a survey or experiment. And on the other hand, if we talk about the qualitative research, you might have to conduct some interviews, or you will conduct the focus group discussions for that particular purpose. And after selecting the method, you create your own research instrument. This could be a questionnaire for your survey or interview guide for qualitative research. So, your instrument must follow the research objectives. It must be clear, easy to understand, and arranged in a logical sequence and a logical manner. And after this, you select your sample. Basically, the people who will going to take part in your research. Then you collect the data, analyze the results, and interpret their meanings. This is how the primary research is designed, and this is how the primary research is executed. Before we end the part 1 of our today's lecture, let's introduce qualitative research briefly, and we will explore it deeply in the next part, but I'll give you a little bit idea of qualitative research here. The qualitative research basically focuses on understanding the emotions, thoughts, motivations, and insights behind the consumer actions. It doesn't use numbers. It uses conversations, observations, analysis of words, not the statistics. Qualitative research is especially important because it reveals the underlying reasons of consumer behavior. For your better understanding, I am going to quote an example here. For example, a survey might tell you that only 40% of the consumers are satisfied. But if you are conducting qualitative research, it will reveal that why they are not satisfied. Maybe they feel the environment is so noisy, or maybe they find out that the staff you have hired is a bit unfriendly. These deeper insights help the businesses to improve in a meaningful ways. This brings to the end of our part 1, and in our second part we will be completing our lecture. Till then, revise all this and I'll be back in part 2. Thank you very much.